Welcome to the 5K5. I am Mark, and I am joined by Matt today. If you guys don't know him, or if you can't tell, we're twin brothers, and he happens to work alongside of me, and he is an AI developer. And yeah, do you want to kind of explain, what your role is?
Yeah, so I am a developer here at 5K. I mainly do internal development of like web apps and different automation tools that we can use to automate our workflows. And yeah, it's a great job. It's fun.
Okay, that's cool. So it's always fun creating something out of nothing, and I don't know, it's just a fun
Oh
thing
yeah,
about it. Oh
definitely.
yeah. So we're actually going to be talking about different tools and automations that we can build that can help streamline operations internally, can help the productivity of our team. All the bottlenecks that our internal team faces. What are some things that you know can solve that? We're just going to be talking about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So with that being said, I have a couple questions for you. The first one being, what is the biggest workflow bottleneck that our internal tools should solve first?
I definitely say time is a big one, and it's kind of generic. But the thing about time is that you can't get more of it, and you need to obviously use your time wisely. And building automated tools where you can automate workflows that take up a lot of time can solve the issue where you don't have time for other stuff throughout the week. And I think that's the biggest bottleneck that many companies have that we can solve. So
Yeah, I like that. With that being said, me, I know I wasn't going to do this, but give me some examples because I really do think that giving an example is going to help the listener picture
Mhm.
what type of tool they could even use or
Yeah.
build for their teams.
So this is real basic, and this was a while ago, but we created a script in Google Apps Script, and we're doing a lot more complicated stuff now. But basically, where someone had to, and this was for a client, their team had to manually go into a spreadsheet when leads came in, manually look through each lead, kind of check boxes off of if they were qualified, not qualified, the reason why they weren't qualified, and then just go through that daily. And they had like hundreds of leads coming in, and what we built for them was a script that automatically does all of that. We use AI to look at each cell in the spreadsheet where the leads come in and determine based off criteria we give it if it's qualified or not qualified. And then if it's qualified, it then gets sent over to the team. So
Okay, that's cool.
yeah, so that definitely
Another,
saved
yeah,
a lot of time for them.
yeah, another example of a time saver internally as a company, similar to what you said. We did a Google App script where we would custom code a script to put into this Google sheet where we would hit a bunch of buttons on it and it would automatically scrape websites. It would automatically research and do a
Oh
deep
yeah.
research on everything that they offer, all the services they offer, different ways that us as a marketing agency can help improve their systems, help improve their processes, what they can do to improve their processes. And we would actually be able to create an entire Google Doc slash like Google slideshow just from a click of a couple buttons. And it took 5 minutes. The total process took like 5 minutes. When in reality, if that wasn't a thing, we would have to sit here, do our own research on these different companies, put together a whole list, and that alone takes, hours to
Yeah.
do. And then we would have to build a presentation from it, which again, manually building a presentation takes time. And we got that from hours and hours, sometimes even days, to minutes. And there's tons of examples like that where we build tools for ourselves that genuinely just completely change the game
Yep.
and make the processes so much
Yeah.
quicker.
We have a manufacturing client. I don't think I'm allowed to say details, but we
Yeah, we
built
haven't we have an NDA.
yeah, but we built a tool for them, and we're still in the process where they have hundreds of thousands of parts that they have in their system, I guess. And their team was spending a lot of time if one of them loses a part or
Well, yeah, because they would have these big carts that they carry them
yeah,
through the warehouse, and like these parts will just fall off the side of this cart, and then they would have no idea what part it was.
yeah. So we built and they would take like hours out of their payroll to try to find out what this part was. So we
Yeah, and
built
this is the engineer's payroll, which
yeah.
is a lot higher than
Mhm.
most
Yeah.
workers.
So we built a tool that they can just take a picture of the part that was dropped, and AI will analyze the database that we have that we built of all of their parts, all the like hundreds of thousands of parts, and AI will analyze it and inspect it and return a part number that they can then look up and see that it matches and all that kind of stuff. So it saves them a lot of time, payroll hours in what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, for sure. So how would you measure whether a workplace efficiency tool is actually improving productivity?
It's definitely about testing. I like the idea of having a 30-day test period. And also it's if the user is actually going to use it too. So
Mhm.
you have to build stuff that the people are actually going to use, number 1. And then based off that, then you can run tests, and you could run a test before you used it on how long it would take someone to do something, and then run a test after with that new implementation and see how much time you saved. And then through all those calculations, you can see how much money you saved and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But definitely setting up like test systems, I think, is a great idea on how to actually test stuff
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
Because you don't just want to give it to the team and just have them use it without knowing the numbers and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you wanna know what improvements it's
Yeah,
making.
exactly.
Yeah. So that actually ties in really nicely to my last question. What are the top factors that determine whether an internal tool gets widely adopted or if the team just ignores it?
So, number 1, you actually have to make sure that the tool is gonna solve something for them. If it's not gonna solve anything, they're not gonna use it.
Mhm. Well, because
And
they have current flows that they already
yeah,
are used to.
exactly, exactly.
Do you think that part of it though is you kinda just have to force the team to do it? If like, this, someone gets, someone has a process of what they do things,
Mhm.
and they go through this process every day, and
Right.
they know the process,
Yeah.
it works for them, it's great for them, whatever. They don't like change.
Mhm.
And so because it's a change, who cares if it's going to improve their productivity? They're not used to it.
Yeah.
So is there a thing where you have to kind of just like, guys, like you got to use it? Like,
I definitely think that's a part of it, to actually get the team to start rolling out and using it. You also have to make sure it's something that they find interesting, I feel, because, I mean, even if they don't find it interesting, forcing them to use it would be an idea, but who's gonna enjoy doing it if they don't like doing it?
mm,
Oh, try to find something that they enjoy as well.
I agree. Matt, thank you so much for taking your time to join the 5K5.
Yeah.
Listeners, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode and tune in for the next one. Peace out.